Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. Today we are doing a run through on a pretty cool Boone. The Boone is Trek's cyclocross bike, but we've built this one as a gravel bike. Myself and Ash are doing the Strada Bianca, which is road and a lot of gravel. So Ash is going to do it on this. So the reason we went with the Boone as opposed to a checkpoint or a road bike is you've got a big mixture of road and gravel. There's a lot of climbing in it. The Boone is Trek's second lightest frame. The only one that's lighter is the Amonda, which is their full-on road climbing bike, and you wouldn't really ride the Amonda on the gravel, not comfortably anyway. The other big benefit with the Boone is you've got tons of clearance. So even though it's a cyclocross bike, we've got 40mm tires in there. You got tons of clearance there in the fork and also in the frame and on the back end. So tons of clearance for the tires. I think that's slightly above what Trek recommends. So if you're going to run a wider tire, you want to check and see what the clearance recommendation is. And if you go above it, it's at your own risk. We've built it with a mix of Ultegra and GRX, mostly because that was the group set that we had at hand. But we've put some cool finishing kit on it. So we've got the Amonda RSL bar. So it's the one-piece bar with the integrated cabling, and the integrated cabling on this is really neat in that it runs in a channel underneath the bars under the tape here, so you don't have to run it through the bars, so it's much easier to take it on and off. There is a little cap to go on here just to tidy things up so that you don't see any of those cables. That'll go on when we're finished. The Boone has the same headset cap as the Amonda has, this guy here. But it also has a little rubber gasket where the cables port into it, and the idea with that is the Boone and the checkpoint are both used off-road a lot, particularly for the cyclocross. You've got a lot of mud, a lot of spray, and that's to keep the mud and the spray out of the headset there. You've got an ISO-speed decoupler down here, and what that is basically is your seat tube is separate to the frame. It's not all one piece. It's mounted on a bearing system, the ISO-speed decoupler, and that allows it to flex, so it gives you a lot more comfort. We're running 40mm tires, so it's not going to be a big deal to have the extra comfort with that, but if you're running 33mm tires on a cyclocross bike, it definitely helps. We've put the Trek RSL saddle, so it's the Aeolus Pro saddle. So it's got a little bit more padding than the RSL. Again, for an off-road bike, it's a little bit more comfortable. It's a little bit more practical. We've used Zip Service Course handlebar tape. It's really nice sponginess, really good grip on it. We've put a GRX rear derailleur with the Ultegra. You've got a clutch system built in there that when you're off-road and you're getting chain slap with a road derailleur, the GRX will help keep the chain on. We went with Bontrager Aeolus RSL 37 wheels, so they're the shallower version of the RSL wheels. The RSL are the lightest wheel that they make in the carbon wheel range. We went with tubes because this bike isn't going to be used all year round, so if it's left sitting up for 2 or 3 months when we're on the road, or 4 months when we're on the road, and you're coming back and the sealant's all dried out, it wouldn't be ideal. So we went with tubes in this, but normally we'd run tubeless setup for a bike that's being used off-road. It's just much more, it's a much better setup. But if you're only using the bike for part of the year, it's a bit of a pain. You would think that we just deal with that, being as how we're in a bike shop, but I was being lazy. We'll put a couple of carbon cages on it, but I wanted to get the weight before we fitted pedals and cages, because that's the way bikes are weighed, even though that's not the way they're always ridden. So this is for a gravel bike with 40mm tires and tubes in it. It's going to be pretty light, so we'll just pop it on there and see what she comes out at. .85, 86. So that's for a gravel bike. That's pretty light. With full carbon wheels, big tires, the whole lot. So that's the probably the coolest bike build of the week. Definitely the one that I enjoyed most when the lads were putting it together and going through it with them. We may convert it to tubeless. If we do, we'll definitely reweigh it again. So that's Trek Boone Gravel build. bike at Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin.